What's up guys, Alan Morrow here from AIM Studios. Today I just want to go over 11 sort of production mistakes that I've made over the years and I've learned from. I've been producing now for probably around 10 to 11 years. So I just wanted to go over some of the main things that sort of held me back when I was doing them, and hoping that, you know, if you're doing some of these things, that, you know, they might be able to help you. So what I've got on my board behind me, there's 11 main points that I just want to go over. And as I say, hopefully this will help your workflow and help yourselves in the studio. So the first one is not finishing tracks. Now, the reason why it's important to try and get as many tracks finished as you possibly can is if you're just concentrating on an 8-bar loop, 16-bar loop, and then moving on to the next track because you don't like the track or whatever. And I know that it's you know, if you're not really feeling the track, it's difficult to then try and finish it. But when you're doing that, you're not giving yourself the practice for things like, you know, your arrangement or your final mix down, all these other things that happen like throughout your production. If you're only practicing a little bit at the start, which is right in the kick and bass, for example, which is something that I used to do until I realised I need to start finishing tracks, you know, practicing those other areas. So try to finish as many tracks as you can. I know, as I said before, it's difficult when you're not really interested in the track, but if you look at it as a learning process, you know, you might start to find that, for example, the more you start to finish tracks, the better you are at getting and mixing that kick and bass. So the process will start to sort of evolve, you know, from there. So that's number one. Number two is not organising your sounds. For anyone that purchases my tutorials, you'll always see that I have, you know, my banks organised, already set up as a channel strip. You know, I go into my sample banks from all the different packs that I've got, and I'll organise all my favourite ones into a certain bank so that they're there to go as soon as I've got that musical inspiration in the studio. I don't want to be flicking through packs trying to find, you know, the perfect clap or the perfect hi-hat going through 500. I've already done that. So spend a day or two, you know, really organising. Yes, it's really boring, but it's going to save you so much time in the future in the studio, guys. So definitely look into that. Number three is not having sort of a basic template. Now, there's nothing worse than open up a blank project and having to set up all your channel strips, you know, set up all your routing, you know, things that you do all the time when you're making a track. Start to put that all together in a template. You'll see on my website I have them there. They're there to just quickly open up. You know, you've got all your channels laid out. There's no sounds in them or anything like that. It's just, some of them might have like MIDI, for example, like your kick or your claps, regions like that, where, you know, your 4/4 kick is always going to be on the same, is always going to be the same MIDI. And also like your claps and stuff like that. Have them there so that you can just load in your top favorite claps and flick through them. You've got all your channels down the side ready to go to load things in. Little things like that. So yeah, definitely look at setting up a template, or there's ones on the website that I have there that you can purchase for Ableton and Logic. Trying not to get distracted. Now this is number 4. This is one that you know, I'm sure we're all victim to. Try to remove your phone from the studio when you're making music. It's like when you're in that workflow and you've got a good workflow going, the last thing you want is a notification for someone that's tagged you in a picture of a cat that's, you know, these little distractions, and then you've just lost that amazing acid line or that flow that you were working on. So there's other things that can help you with distraction as well, guys. The internet is obviously one of the biggest distractions there. There is apps online. This is something that I actually had to do. I had to purchase an app or a subscription. I can't remember what app it was right now that actually restricted me from going on certain websites. I mean, it's good to be able to go on some, because, you know, for example, you might need some inspiration to go on SoundCloud or tutorials, whatever it is that you need to go on the internet for. But major distractions like Facebook and stuff like that, I would blacklist those on between a certain time. Number 5. Not trying different sounds and subgenres and genres. If you're just constantly making the exact same sound at the same tempo, using the same sort of key, you're not learning about how other sounds work together. So I can't stress enough, even if you're not going to make these sounds for you as an artist, and you know you're never going to release anything. Work on like a techno track, try different sounds. A house track. What that's going to do is going to open your mind to new production techniques. You're going to learn a lot more about how sounds work together, and it's not just going to be the same sounds you're using all the time. And it's just going to make you a much better, more well-rounded producer, guys. So definitely look into doing that. Which leads me on to number 6, which is not sort of thinking outside the box or experimenting. Spend some time in the studio to just open up a project, get a sample, and just start messing with it, or a preset. Start adding on different effects, things that you would never usually do in the studio, which is going to help you discover new ways of making sounds. I've got a tutorial series on the website which was designed exactly for this. It's called Thinking Outside the Box, and it's all about trying different things that you'd never think of doing to sort of unlock those parts of your brain where you haven't really been there yet. Just little different things like resampling, putting like filters on kicks or flanges on kicks, whatever it is, things that you like, aren't in the rule book or whatever. Get rid of that rule book and just try totally different things in the studio. Really experiment. Multitude of chains of effects, stuff like that. Try all those different things. It's really going to, one, help you understand sounds again, and two, you might discover a unique sort of what's the word? a unique sort of formula that you've got for a sound that you put on something that might become part of your signature sound as an artist. So be sure to definitely do that as well, guys. It'll definitely help you. Number 7 is not taking the time to learn your DAW. Now, the more you know about your DAW, the quicker your workflow is going to be. I used to spend about an hour or an hour or two each week really trying to unlock different parts of my DAW to find out how I could speed up the process, or different like features that I didn't understand about. So definitely make time to do that. It's boring, yes, and but it's going to help you along the way with workflow. Yes, it's not as fun as making a track, but trust me, once you're making a track and you understand the shortcuts and everything like that of your DAW, it's going to make producing so much faster and so much more fun. Number 8, reference tracks. Not using reference tracks. Now, as you obviously become a bit more of an experienced producer, these might not be needed as much, but there's nothing worse than sitting in a studio all day thinking your track sounds absolutely amazing. Next minute you stick in a reference track and you realise how weak your track sounds. Your kick isn't punchy enough, there's no stereo width in your track, all these different things that when you reference to that final finished professional mastered track, that your track is just lacking in so many areas from it. So it's always good to have that reference track inside your DAW for you to quickly A/B. The next one, number 9, is not taking breaks. I used to be really bad at this. I'd sit there in the studio for 10, 11 hours, and the only time I'd ever go for a break was either to use the toilet or quickly grab some food. And I thought I was being really productive, and I just wasn't. You need to break up your day. One, to obviously give your ears a bit of a break, guys. Really important. Come back with fresh ears. Just get out the studio, 10, 20 minutes, half an hour, go for a walk, go grab a coffee, go and do some stretches. Whatever it is that you need to do just to sort of reset your brain and get back in the studio is really going to help you more production with your productivity. Sorry, I was losing the words there. Number 10 is buying plugins that you never really bother to learn. I did this so many times when I first started producing, and when I first started, I was buying plugins thinking these are going to make me sound so much better as a producer, and they just weren't. I was spending heaps of money on plugins that I would never really take the time to learn because I'm too busy trying to make tracks. Don't fall into that trap, guys. Obviously, if you're going to buy plugins that are really going to help you and you're going to spend the time to learn them, then that's totally that's obvious. Do that. But moving on to the final one, guys, which is number 11, is don't waste your money on plugins. Spend that money on some knowledge. Now, I know I obviously have a tutorial website, and people are probably thinking, whether it's me or someone else, the more knowledge you have, the more power you're going to have in the studio. Spend money on courses. Just the more you know, the better. I can't stress this enough. It's much better to spend $150 or £150 or whatever it is on knowledge and learning about how to make the particular music that you want to make, or sound design courses or anything like that, than it is to buy a plugin that you're never going to use. So as I say, guys, definitely, knowledge is power. And I can't stress that enough. I have a lot of clients that I speak to about this from when I first started, and that they agree with me now how important spending money on knowledge is over plugins. Whether it's even if it's just knowledge about your DAW or anything, all these different things are really going to help you be a much better producer and help you in the studio with your workflow. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. There's 11 mistakes that I've sort of made in my production career. If you do have any that you are making that you're aware of, please comment below and let others know, that they might not even realize that they're doing it, but it will help them. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. For any of you that are looking for in-depth tutorials, please head over to the website. That's alanmorrowstudios.com. On there, you'll find plenty of in-depth tutorials, templates, sound banks, and studio tips, and much more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys, where I'll be giving you much more content like this, and other information on new tutorials that are coming out, or sound banks that are there. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I do appreciate it, and I hope this has helped you. See you soon.